call to order the work session for April 25th, 2025. I can get a roll call, Mr. Petty?
Councilperson Tony Abbott.
Here.
Councilperson Dylan Little.
Present.
Councilperson Tommy Roulette.
Present.
Councilperson Lenny Fryman.
Here.
Councilperson Brett Bonder is not here. We got Attorney Doug Gardner.
Yeah.
My bad. Used to Mayor Kelly Malone.
Here.
And myself.
Okay, I think the topic, guys, is the Riverfront project.
Yeah, I think for the most part, the reason why this meeting was called to order, from conversations that I've had, I think that a majority of us at this time want to pause the project.
Okay.
There's been a lot of money spent on it. We don't have any answers at this time, and we want to get those answered before we continue to spend money on this.
Okay.
And so that's the main purpose of why I'm here. I'm not sure if any of these other folks have anything of what they want to add. I think we're sitting at close to what, $1.2 million spent as of right now on the total project cost. Is that?
That's what yeah.
Plus, we have an additional $28,618 in Ross Brown for whatever reason for Riverfront. That, I was gonna bring that up Monday at the meeting, but I wasn't able to make it, so.
Is that the one that I brought up that wasn't itemized?
I guess it was, I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd made a copy of that last Thursday when we went through the claims, and I was gonna question that. I'm not sure what we're doing with Frost Brown there, but, and the only other thing I wanna add to this whole conversation is, speaking with Mark, and I try to stay on top of things the best I can, we still not have any signed contracts with Moffett nor Structure Point since we,
That's not true.
Well,
you find out?
what we're missing,
Is
at least the clerk treasurer's office, what the clerk treasurer's office is missing is we got Moffett Nickel, we got that contract. I've got everything over there. It's signed. I know the numbers.
Okay,
I know that back on February 3rd, we had a meeting and we approved a contract for, I think it was the rest of Moffett Nickel, Structure Point,
right?
and Maxwell. But I was very confused on, it was a long contract and I was very confused with it. And I had Dell come over the next day and
Did it on
explain
the
it to me.
10th, didn't we?
What's that?
The 10th.
Yeah, I don't know what day it was, but anyway, he came, we went through them, and I said, hey, I said, I'm still having a hard time with this American Structure Point. I said, I don't get it. I said, plus I said, I don't have a signed contract with it. And I said, the other thing is the Maxwell Construction, I said, it needs to be signed too, and it's not signed. Dale's been working on those. I talked to him after our last meeting, and he still said there's some things that are in question. We don't know exactly.
That's Maxwell.
Is that Maxwell? I like I said, I told him, I said, listen, I said,
Questioning some of the
yeah,
costs.
I said, I'm not going to pay any more on this barge one with Structure Point or Maxwell until I get those signed contracts over there. I said, he said, I'm working on it. There's a few things that were kind of confusing in there. So that's where we're at with that.
What was the concern with them? Do you know, Mayor? Or?
Something to do with the cost regarding on-site staff. The numbers they were putting into the contract, we didn't think was, we thought they needed to sharpen the pencil on before they came back.
So you do have signed contracts for Moffett
Moffett Nickel, yes, I have everything signed with them.
and Structure Point?
Not the barge construction part, because
Not
they
the barge.
when they redid that, they kind of added the barge stuff into the old contract, and I told them I was confused and I can't figure out the exact number with the barge, and he said he was going to look into it and get that squared away and get that signed.
But the other side, the dry side.
The dry side, yeah, the dry side, we still owe him, we still owe not much on the dry side. I think around $20,000 to Structure Point is what we still owe them. I know that we still owe Moffett and Nickel. Their outstanding balance is around almost 300. It's 282,000 on Moffett and Nickel. And like I said, I don't have the numbers for Maxwell. And then the barge part, like I said, I don't really know what the numbers are.
Well, what I got from you is $186,000.
That's what yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the signed contract, but we have paid 186 on the barges. So.
I mean, going back to February 3rd, I did my best to ask questions to make sure we were going the right direction here. I'm just, I don't know. I just don't know. All I see is numbers coming in, and when I seen this last Thursday with Frost Brown, I'm like, where's the transparency with someone telling us what's going on with Frost Brown? What's Frost Brown about? What are we giving them?
I can't answer that right now, not in an open session.
But it says it's towards the riverfront project.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll elaborate once you're done. I mean, I can tell you vaguely, Tom. I can't, I don't want to.
And I sort of understand that, but I need some transparency. I said it 100 times. If someone wants me to go to stand in line with them, I got to know what's going on. And when I see that kind of stuff, and I haven't had a chance to talk to you about it prior to the meeting, then I had my situation Monday with my grandson, so I couldn't be here, and then I'm not here, and everything just goes to I don't know what. I'm like, whew, wow. And I'm like, I just don't understand it. I can't see being 1.248.26285 into this project, and I don't know. I am for this project. I just want everybody to know I'm for this project. I don't care what any of the naysayers say. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again on the public record. They did a $35 million flyover bridge. They did a $52,000 event center that only cost them $35 or whatever, and put an Ivy Tech on that levee when we had an Ivy Tech over there. We need to sell our riverfront. So I'm for it. I don't care what anybody says. They can come knock on my door or call me or email me all they want. I'm for this project, but I need numbers and I need transparency.
And I think the big thing that at least I'm looking for today is I want to pause until we get that. That's what I'm looking for, and that, so.
Okay, so is that what you guys were trying to do Monday night's meeting?
Yes.
Yes, we wanted numbers. How much is this gonna cost? We're into this far enough, we ought to have some kind of guesstimate on what this is going to cost us.
Well, I voted the way I did because I took it you was wanting to stop it. I know that you was wanting things done, automized, and you had one, but you didn't have the other. But I know we're gonna have to pay them one way or another. We're gonna have to pay it. But I misunderstood, and I think the other one did too, but it is what it is.
What I'm
And-
looking for, I would put a motion out there that we freeze this project till we get our questions answered at this time, to freeze funding for this project until that happens.
Okay. Motion on the floor, second?
Now, wait a minute. Rephrase that again.
It's, can I rephrase it?
Yes.
Motion on the floor is to freeze the project until council gets the questions answered they need. Is that correct? And then they'll decide if they want to go forward.
Yes.
That's the motion. Second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, I want to say my 2 cents.
Okay.
All right? Number one, there's been nothing done with this project that you guys aren't aware of as far as the design. You voted on the design 18 months ago or whatever it was. Nothing has changed there. The last 8 to 10 months and an additional cost that we've incurred is due to the re-engineering 4 or 5 times now from the LCD. All right? Nothing on the project has changed that you guys don't already know about and voted on in a public meeting.
I would like to disclose that I was not there, obviously. That was,
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And I apologize. So I wanted to say that because you guys have voted on all these expenditures, okay? The attorney fees, without sharing the details, is regarding what our options were for if we don't get the letter of no objection.
Okay.
Okay? I made an attempt after the meeting the other night I scheduled an executive session for next week so you guys could meet with everybody that's involved in the project, engineers, the attorneys, all of it. And the reason I did it with an executive was because of if there's any potential litigation, because the attorneys would be in the audience as well for you guys to ask your questions to. And then I anticipated us having your meeting with the LCD. That was my reasoning. So then I heard about this meeting, and I think it was probably I don't know why, but we're here, and you guys made a decision, and we're gonna do whatever you guys want to do with us.
I think that personally what I would like to see is if we're going to have an executive session, I would like to see right after a work session with the LCD, with all of those folks still here. That way that our folks are here, their folks are here, and everyone's in the same room and we can get all of our questions answered. We can do our executive session with them on our own, one-on-one, that's fine. But then I would still like to have them here when the Conservancy's here as well. That way everyone's in the same room.
Okay.
And we can get those questions answered.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
It just seems like this is never going to end with the Conservancy on this walkway. I mean, we can't come up with something that both of us like, apparently.
I don't know what it is.
And without that, we can't do nothing. So we've been hanging in the air here for the last year.
Well, and what I would ask for is when our attorneys come and our engineers and stuff like that for that executive session, bring us everything. Bring us the designs, bring us whatever. Show us what we have, what's going on. That way we can say our piece when the time comes.
It's more or less, we just need to know, instead of them coming up here and telling us one thing and changing it, that's where all this money is being spent. And we're not getting anything done. It's getting to the point where the town's splitting. I'm about ready to just throw my hands up and say, let's just forget it.
I'm about ready to say, let's just downscale it.
I don't know about how you downscale it, but I mean, you still got to get things through LCD, and it's not working out good for some reason.
Well, and look, I've been very transparent about this. Where I stand on the project is I'm opposed. And look, that's fine. We're all allowed to have
Right.
differences of opinions, right? But what I worry about with redesigning it smaller or even going back is then you're incurring more engineering fees to go back to the drawing board.
Exactly.
I don't know how far we continue on this, right? Ultimately, that's a choice that we all have to make. But what I want to do right now is I want all of my questions answered. What's going on? What are we doing? Where are we at? And then move forward from there.
Mayor, when will we
The
know?
questions is, give us a guess of how much this is going to cost.
Yeah.
20 million or 35?
Or 40.
You'll have that. at that
I've
meeting.
heard
We were
numbers.
gonna have it at that meeting on Thursday, but I shut them down. So
Could
I'm
we,
not working on anything right now.
if that's the case, could we schedule something with those folks? Let's say, today's Friday, so I don't want to say let's plan it for next week or anything crazy. But let's say we look for the week of May 12th.
I got some stuff that's up in the air health-wise. I can't commit right now.
Okay.
But I want to have this meeting as much as you guys.
Well, what my goal is I want, if the Conservancy is going to come here after, I want to give them time to get their folks in order.
Absolutely.
I want to have time to get our folks in order.
Well, how
That way
about if we
have
plan it at least 2 to 3 weeks out?
Yes.
From whatever. And I'll give you guys a couple dates. The main thing is trying to get, I want to make sure that everybody that's involved in the project is able to make it in person. Okay? And then make sure your guys' schedules coincide. Then we'll reach out to the LCD and say, hey, we're going to do this on this date at this time. I'm sure they're pretty flexible, but I'm happy to do that, but,
Do we need a motion to approve the funds for them to come here? Whatever that looks like, since we just voted to freeze funding on this project?
well,
A pre-approval of council funds to.
well, and I want you to know, we've got invoices coming in.
And I just want to be clear on this, you know, and Doug, you can help out too, but I have to have those contracts. If I don't get the barge contract from Structure Point, I know they got a $40,000 invoice that's on somebody's, I'm not paying it until I get that contract. They have to get that contract to me. And Maxwell, we haven't paid Maxwell a dime yet on this project, and I'm sure that, you know, he's done some stuff on this project, but I have to have that contract signed. Until I get any one of those, I mean, you know, they could be work dated before today, but I'm not paying until I get those contracts. I mean, I think that's fair, or
That's fair, well, let's give them the proper motivation to get the contract. No problem, sometimes, you know, you need to get people motivated.
yeah,
Get them motivated, so we'll get that.
yeah, I'd really appreciate that.
I don't know what the holdup is, I haven't talked to Dell about it, but I know people not getting paid that'll bump the contract to the top of their priority list pretty quickly.
Okay, perfect.
So that's no
Thanks.
In my closing, I want to clarify one thing on the transparency, and Mary, you touched on it. When I seen those bills from Frost and Brown, I'm like, what are these about? I really had no idea. All I seen was Riverfront. As far as the project, I know you've been transparent, everybody has. I'm right there accepting what they brought to us, you know what I mean? I'm for the project. And I'm like the rest of them know, I would like to see a dollar amount, how much it really is gonna cost. I mean, that's, you know, just what we asked for. But the biggest thing that I would like to see us get over is the hurdle that we have with LCD. I mean, it just seems like this is this is probably the most aggravating part of this, is just getting over that one hurdle. I don't know what we do to get over that hurdle. I really don't.
That was.
I mean, I'm just so, and I know, and you spoke on it, Mayor, that last meeting, you asked them specifically, what questions have we not answered? You know?
I won't, I don't want to speak for Moffett and Nickel, because I'm not an engineer. But I'm sure they'll be able to share with you the answers to your questions. And that way you have all the answers before we even speak with the LCD and their engineers about it. But, yeah.
We can't get anything done, guys. What are you gonna do? I mean, we're going through all this, and we have it with them, they come in here and tell us, then they change things, then they do things, and this is costing us a lot of money, that we're not getting anything done. That's why I said it's splitting the city, it's splitting everybody in half, and I don't like that.
Well, and that's why I would like to get everyone in here. I want to work with the LCD, right? It's their levy.
We all do.
I do.
It's their levy.
Yeah.
Their job to protect the downtown
And I
folks
get
that
it.
live there. We all do. We all have the same priorities, but I want to get them in there. I want to have a conversation, see where it goes, and then if it feels like we're not going to make any movement, then maybe that's when we make a decision to end the project. I mean, at some point, you can't just keep spending if we're never going to make any leeway.
What I don't understand is if the Army Corps of Engineers would give the go-ahead for this, I mean, they look at the drawings and say, okay, this is good. How can one engineer stop us for all this time?
That's the way the process is designed in the state of Indiana, that to do a project on the levee, the local sponsoring agency has to give that letter of no objection. That's what we've been researching to see if there's options. And, yeah. And in the executive session, they'll be happy to share that information. I want to be clear, I don't I don't keep anything from anybody on, without reason. You all have worked with me long enough, you know that. I don't like the assumption of it, because I don't think it's fair, because I don't believe I've given you guys reasons to do that. I can understand your frustrations. I have very much the same frustration. This project should have been going, is the way I see it, if everybody's still in favor of it, or the majority. But just trying to get it down past the yard marker. But here's what we'll do then. I'd already told everybody to stop any work. Like I said, I'm sure there's residual invoices out there, so you will see them. You can vote to not pay for them at the next as they come on the claims, you know. But I can tell you, as of Tuesday morning, they were asked to do not do any more work until I get some clarification from you guys. So, Dylan, that's a good point, because people will have to travel to get here, and we can't expect them to do it on their dime. So, I would ask that we would, even if you decide to not go forward with the project, after everything that happens after those meetings, or we can't get any solidification with the LCD, that we make the people whole, that deserve to be made whole. And they will, you know, I can't ask them to come here and,
All right.
you know, just so I think we're fair people, so.
And I'll process everything that the contract says. I mean,
I know.
I just need it.
Yep.
And that's, yeah.
Well, I think Doug put it best. I mean, there's motivation for both parties to get the contract.
They say they're for this project, but for some reason, it's always some excuse. There's just something else comes up, and it seems like they tell you something here, then they go back, and then we do it again. And that's where all this money's coming in. I mean, why can't we get it all at one time? Why can't they just tell us what we gotta do? If we can do it, we do it. If we can't do it, we can't do it.
I hear you. I don't think it's fair to say on live TV when we're trying to work with them. So.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying what we've went through. I'm just telling the facts here. I'm not color coding anything, guys. I'm just telling you what I see when I sit behind in this chair right here. And we need to get it all straightened out. Figure it out and tell us what we gotta do, and let's get it done.
Well, I thought we had that done the last meeting.
I did too.
But obviously, I hope after we meet with them the next time, you guys will have your answers from them.
So they had their questions sent to our engineers. Did our engineers answer everyone?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is their point now? They did.
They came back with more.
They came back with more.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to.
Right.
I think it's best for them to explain it, both sides. Let them
I
both
agree with you.
explain it. But, yeah. Yeah. That's what I said, guys. I know you're frustrated. I'm frustrated as well. But you're frustrated with me for some other reasons, I'm sure. But rest assured, I'm doing what I think is best for this project. If it doesn't go forward, if that's your vote at some point, I'll support whatever you guys want. So, but I will get that put together. So, we'll make sure it happens. It may be 2-3 weeks, that's what I'm saying. There's
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh, yeah.
things in play right now, but just so you guys know. So, been waiting 18 months, I don't think another month's gonna hurt anything.
Well, I want to say something to you, Tommy. When we talked yesterday, I did not think about tabling this as you was here. I apologize for that because
It's
I think we all should be here. And it's like Brett's not here today.
It's okay.
But, I mean, it's just one of those things, but you don't think. You know, sometimes things go on and there's a lot going on here and you just don't think.
Mr. Moat could have called in as he was underneath that car working on it.
Just a serpentine belt.
Well, he could have, because you know what? I would have thought of him, of all people, would have done that, been underneath there with that phone on the intercom talking to us.
When you guys were in your meeting, I was on Route 9, 109 to 9, to 3.
So,
Yeah, that's out in the boonies.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys good with what we've decided then?
I think so.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Somebody
Second.
second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
All right, Mr. Vaughn,